Hello, friends of Pirate Chain. Hello, friends of crypto, friends of price charts. Welcome. We're going to be looking at some Pirate Chain price charts against USDT, against BTC. Hello, friends of lagging indicators, specifically the MACD friends and the RSI friends. Hello to our Ichimoku friends and our Bollinger Band friends. Definitely, and a special welcome to our Glenn Neely Neo-Wave friends of Elliott Wave Theory, and of course, to all of you price action friends looking at the charts, welcome. Komodo platform, welcome. Enemies, welcome. We are here to share screens and talk about colors. We're here to talk about lines. We're here to talk about time and space and all that good stuff. I'm using getaurox to do that, to look at the graphical representations of these price patterns. And here we have a BTC price about 37,000 range. In our BTC and our USDT, we're roughly $4 in the USD and 11,000 Satoshis in the BTC, and not a bad. Okay, we've been wrestling, just like all the other price charts, wrestling with a little bit of, more than a little bit, a lot of downturning, big shocking, and scrambling to recover. Well, we might be in that position where recovery is beginning. Here we go. So a few things to think about. Welcome. Maybe you're listening in 1.5 or 1.75x speed. Regardless, none of this is financial advice or life advice, really. However, just a reminder to stay hydrated with good water and rested. Okay, stay rested and work on those relationships that you cherish, because, wow, I mean, all the money in the world can't buy the best relationships. So definitely there's wealth to be had in life. It's abundant, and we just need to learn how to tap into it. And one of the best ways to do that is working on ourselves. So that's what we're here to do, and we're doing it through these price charts right now. We've got a potential ABC correction in this overall price correction. Let us catch up here. At the beginning of April, we were all the way down here in US dollar terms, roughly in the 30 cents range. Beautiful move up, incredible move up, way beyond expectations. Once we were at $3, that was already incredible 10x move right there. And then we went up to like $12 on a closing time basis, and even into the higher teens there in a wow, in an intraday basis. It's just incredible what happened. And now, well, unfortunately, the retracement from the top, as we have said in recent videos, is to the bottom was about 78%, 75%, and now we're roughly at a negative 70%. However, in terms of a retracement from the move itself, let's call this move from here, we're talking about 786, 81%, because if we were down at 30 cents, so really that's so close to $1. Sorry, so close to zero, or like the starting point up to where it got. It's as though this whole move here is all of the magnitude of price action, even though there's 30 cents between the beginning of the move and the zero mark, right? So yeah, roughly the retracement from the top is basically the same as the retracement from the entire move. Okay, so that's one thing to think about. Definitely a big corrective pattern. And it looks like there's a potential here which is clearing out. We're wondering, did we complete this down wave here as a C, or is the C incomplete yet? And it could be truncated because it's more than, let's say we're comparing the C to the A. Oops, that's not going to work, but we'll come back there. Okay. Oops, let's get in there. Just going to clean this up a bit for you in the sense that we've got a lot of lines here. So I'm just going to hold us here for a second, let you orient yourself. Okay, I'm going to remove some of these lines. And I'm going to even now say, look, if we're going to be a normal zigzag pattern, we have to come to about the $2.60 in closing. We could be truncated. It's beyond a $4.74 as a 38.2. So it could be a truncated form of zigzag, which would be bullish. That would be great. That would be pretty bullish. So yeah, so we'll see about that. I mean, if we count this, we could argue for 5 waves here. We could also argue that it's something else happening. And unfortunately, I'm definitely no expert, so I'm not making any guarantees on the count. But as we've been looking at it, we've been pretty accurate with our thinking. So this could be the bottom here, okay? Oh, and in which case we're going up, we're finding that resistance here. Most likely, when we look at we are on the 4 hour. I'm going to show you the Ichimoku Cloud. It provides more resistance. We might be looking to make a higher low, which would be great. That would be awesome. Okay. Potentially, though, there could be the lower low, and that's fine too. We will work with that as it comes. Let's just say it's not unexpected. All right. Now, other potential is up move as an A, down move as a B, up move as a C for a zigzag, and then continue to down. That's also a potential. So let's see where we're going. And the bases are basically covered right now in the dollar stance. I want to just view that. I'm going to remove this. And you see now this trend line here, it is acting quite as that resistance. We've got the yellow trend line there too. I'm going to keep that one there. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of these for now. Done. Okay, now let's reconvene with some candles. Okay, so potential here for a further impulse and also potential for coming down lower and finding a higher low and then making the way back up. So that'd be nice. And the next thing here though to consider is going to be, all right, let's add a couple of these indicators. So we've got a Bollinger Band, interesting. So what's happening Bollinger Band wise is we've moved from the bottom of the band when we had that big support here all the way down to the roughly the 250 area, $2.50 area. And then we've come nearly to the top, but not quite. So this is why I'm thinking maybe we're going to have, like we had this resistance here from this type of trending price resistance, how this white downtrending line. However, breaking beyond that, we could be testing the top of the Bollinger Band, get rejected, you know, by breaking through, get rejected, and then come back down and find again the middle, which is about the 20 period average. That could be reasonable. Okay. Also, if we consider this move here, how much have we retraced? We've retraced roughly, yeah, 618 of that. So we could still be coming further down for more. Okay. If we go here though and start talking about intra-period touches, then we've gone a little bit further beyond that, but we're back. So yeah, it's still not 100% clear here, but it is showing that we are nearing the end. And I think we're going to also take another look at a time analysis for some possible ideas. We're still negative on that MACD signal line here, although positive in the histogram, because the MACD is above the signal line. So that brings the histogram to positive territory. And so overall, still weakness and potential for more downtime. However, once again, potential for that uptime. Let's keep an eye on this. Okay, and then the other one would be the Ichimoku Cloud. And we got that right there. And you see here now, you see how this Ichimoku Cloud is offering a strong resistance point, confluencing nicely with the price downtrending line from the bigger shape that has been made through this correction. shape as in defined by top touches, okay? We've got that defined in the yellow line. It's just a rough definition, an outline, so to speak, just to give us ideas. So here is that Ichimoku Cloud. Either we can, I don't see us busting through it just yet. However, if this is a stronger move, like let's say we go down a little bit longer and we continue up a measured, type of move here of the zigzag pattern. Let's say we take it from here and we go where we are now. A 1-to-1 would bring us up to the 550 level. A 1618 would bring us to the 653. So if it's an elongated, interesting. However, if we do continue further down, then a 1-to-1 would just bring us, let's say we continue further down to, let's say $4. Okay, let's say we kind of get some support around here, which we kind of already are. So we get it from there. Yeah, a 1-to-1 is around the 550 level. Okay, and if it does go down a little bit lower, then a 1-to-1 is about the 530 level. So okay, fine, give or take a few dimes here and there, and you're in the middle of this cloud. And then after that zigzag move, though, you're probably coming down. So this cloud will offer that resistance, and who knows how far the down move is. So that's, if it's a zigzag, that's one thing to look out for, okay? And if it were to be even shorter, then it would be even more on that bearish move, because then it would be truncated for a further down move. Well, anyway, we'll see what we're working with here. Next is the thought of, and let's bring it back to the daily. And we're going to also check this on the Bitcoin chart, which I find is interesting. Where are we going now? Well, let's look at daily stuff. And we're talking, okay, so again, on the daily, we've found our way through the bottom of the Bollinger Band. Okay, found that support there, and now we're back up quite into it. The bottom of the Bollinger Band is all the way down here at the bottom of the green candle. So that means we could still even come back down and even break it even further. And again, like we said, possibly go down into the 2s for the lower low. Or we might have tested it enough because, hey, we tested it over here. We rode it all the way down here. So maybe we're done with that for now. And we're going to go test this 20-day moving average around the, again, 550, 575 area by the time, by the time the days, 2 or 3 days happen, 5 or 6 days happen, they might confluence a little bit lower down. Okay? Which, surprisingly or not, would confluence with this support resistance, which would now be resistance line at about 530. Okay. All right, I don't know what else to say about that. I don't think we're coming yet to touch this cloud. I think in June we'll come and touch this cloud. I think in June we're coming here. All right. Yeah. So we'll see what that's going to look like. Let's just imagine that this whole move, again, we've done this, but let's do it again. From closing to closing, a 618 move would be nice $9 move. So let's see if we can retrace that much. And if we can only get 50% there, well, it's $8 move. So some higher prices are coming in the future, I do believe, based on what we're thinking here. And so consider that not financial advice, but hey, think for yourself. And yeah, keep liking the videos and making comments. And if you're finding value here, well, thanks for joining and stick around. We've come all the way through here, through this month of end of April and beginning of May. Towards now, we're getting towards June. So beginning, middle of May, down big dumps, and hopefully we are completely evacuated, ready to go forward for our next meal. Who's hungry? Yeah, I'm pretty hungry. Now, I just wanted to look at another idea, which was time. So one thing that I've seen is that you can have, let's say, a correction, and imagine you have 3 components to a situation, like 3 relatively equal degree patterns. It doesn't matter what their pattern is, whether it's an impulse, zigzag, flat, triangle, whatever. The idea being that you will have, let's say you have 3 in a row. Well, all 3 of them will never be of the exact same time length. You will always have at least one of them which is different. Also, in a corrective situation like this, you might have, let's imagine you have an A, B, C correction. You might have A plus B equals C. Or you might have A plus C equals B. Basically, the idea of time, there's difference and similarity. So let's take a look. Let's say we're kind of coming from here. And we're saying, okay, this zigzag here, we'll do it with the line chart, okay? Because that might even be easier for us to visualize. And we'll do it, yeah, we'll do it like this, okay? Okay, so here we go. Boom. So it's clear that we had this first part of this correction. On this frame, it looks like a zigzag, but if the whole thing that we're dealing with is combined zigzag, then this has, on some level, has to be an impulse 5-way. Fine. Let's combine this. Even if they're not combining into one big zigzag, now we're taking the B wave, which seems like a flat pattern, and the B wave is longer than the A wave, so that satisfies some difference. And then here we are, 8 bars is around here, here, so 9 bars. So basically, if that's the case, right, like either, and we go back to the candles, either we actually finished something around here, okay, with some sort, but it just doesn't make sense like that. So 6, so it's like, it doesn't make sense. You got 12 and you got 14. Now I know I'm not counting exactly perfectly. So this is the thing. What I'm noticing is that they are close. They are close to each other. And so that comes into play. That definitely comes into play. The other option is, okay, we have 6 here, we have 14 here. Together, that's 20. So what if we make this 20? Well, that brings us here. Isn't that interesting? That brings us around the 2nd of June, okay? This is a time frame where let's imagine that we do come up and then come down and find a higher low. That would be great. Or even if we are up here and we're still coming down and we're finding our higher low, and then we're able to break out or break through or find some significance where it's completed. Now that would mean probably we're completing around the 2nd June timeframe if the C is equaling the B plus the A. But again, I haven't perfectly lined it up, although these two seem to complete around here like this, because it doesn't, although that was meant to be. So if we change the date on this one to there, which in the candles, it didn't seem like that, but that's okay. That's why these things are debatable, that's fine. Then we get something like this, where that would be 18, which is what I had found earlier before I started looking at this on the recording. And that was around 29th May, but basically it's the same idea. It doesn't matter the exact day. We're not trying to crystal ball this, we're just trying to ballpark it, all right? I think that makes sense, okay? So yeah, so around this time, let's look for a higher low. That's what we really want to signal strength and the potential for moving out of this downtrending resistance to the upside. And then who knows how long sideways needs to happen before up. But if we look at it, it's clear that there's potential for more. There's clearly potential for more. Let's just remove this. Yeah, it just looks good. It just, but when? I mean, look, to get all the way to August even, this is just such a long, drawn out situation. However, to get to August and be not yet, but like moving up, but not broken through all-time highs can make a lot of sense too. And that would confluence with this trending line here, which is the parallel of this line. So there are these ideas that will come into play, and I hope that at some point we meet this line and bounce to the upside. That would be incredible. That would be awesome. Okay. Another thing that I like is that on the RSI, this peak was lower than this peak. Okay. However, we did have the bearish divergence, which happened between the next peak. So the idea being that this is probably clearing out a lot of the information, getting ready for new impulse, and the weekly candles will show us candles, weekly charts now are showing us that there's some complexity here now. It's good. This complexity is good, is really good. And yeah, overall, I think that there is now the 20-week average, which will be meeting with the price within the next, let's say, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So this is good. This is offering us an idea of where we're going. And I think that, yes, it is sideways and up rather than down. Maybe short down, but all of this action right here for this past month here might have been difficult for you. I'm not sure, but if you've stuck through it, well, congratulations. And we're looking for better times. That doesn't mean we can't have worse times before that. But I think the sentiment speaks well for itself at this point. Okay. Yes, indeed. All right. So that's the dollar chart right now. Okay. We are going to remove ourselves from the R USDT chart and move over to the R BTC chart. So here's another similar idea. Again, okay, what do we have here? We have the 4-hour chart, R BTC. We were definitely able to hang out in this cloud a lot longer. Okay, where are we going to be going? Well, we can go down hard. We can go down diagonally along with this big trend line. We can break through it and kind of go sideways, or we can break through it to the upside above the Ichimoku Cloud on the 4-hour, which is what the potentials seem to be right now. So what are we looking at here? Again, we're looking at that similarity, but this time we're getting, let's say, 36 bars for this zigzag down. We're getting 60 bars for the C wave, making 96 bars. And then in between, we have 96 bars for this entire B wave. However, this is interesting because on a daily chart, it is where it comes from. So if we were to actually take this over to the daily, you'll see instead of 96 bars, the total is 16 bars. We have our 6 bar zigzag. We have 16 bars for this flat pattern. And then we have 10 bars for this impulse. That would mean that the impulse ends actually today, which is, you know, friends of Neely method, you please chime in here and let us know. Or if you know any friends of Neely method, you can ask them about it, but you don't always end the count on the lowest point, depending on what's happening. Okay. Doesn't mean the count is over yet though. And also doesn't mean this count is of any relevance to us. Although I tend to give it at least some relevance to say basically that if these 3 different patterns, which one is a zigzag, one looks like a flat, and then the other one seems more like an impulse, but it could be some sort of combo zigzags or whatever. Then in that case, well, there are 3 different patterns and they're combining to create some similarities and differences in time relationships to a point where they create some form of time equality. One thing I wanted to look at on the daily chart here, it was like this in the dollar as well, is this indecision candle. And that's the represented in these 4 arrows. This is indecision. What do we need to do right now in order to be good? That's what the price is asking. It's saying, hey, the market is saying, hey, what do we need to do right now to be good again? Huh? What do we need to do to fix this? And that's what we are going to find out. We are just waiting. we're asking. Now, we were rejected by 20-day period average. And that means to me, and we're also being rejected by this kind of downtrending resistance area. It means we're probably going to go down. I don't think we're going hard down. However, again, hard down would be something along the lines of a fifth wave failure, where we might even make a lower high, which would be great. Or the fifth wave would be closing lower, which would clear that out, and then it would be moving out, and it would be that final capitulation that everyone thought was here, but is actually here. And the same thing can be on that dollar chart, right? It's the same idea. We can also have a kind of down move for a few days before making the next up move. And then we can have an up move that comes in and then kind of goes sideways. These can play with each other. And then you can have something that's actually a little bit more robust and makes its way to this zone and probably rejected by this region right here around that 16,000 Satoshis level. Yeah, so let's just return back. So that was the time idea. We are definitely coming to the end of this, whether we're there or not. It is not, it's not up to me to say if we're there exactly right now. I don't know. Again, we're above the 20 period average. Okay, these support resistance lines, I'm hoping that you see that they do come in handy a lot when you're looking for short-term movements, or also just for understanding, like, okay, if we're getting rejected here, well, then we're probably a bit weaker. However, if we catch support here in this middle line, then we have more likelihood of taking one of these arrows, right? And hopefully we can move harder and faster, and we can hopefully test this, even maybe even break through it. Otherwise, if we make our way into the cloud on a 4-hour level, most likely we will find some sort of resistance eventually that breaks us down. Yeah, and if we're just kind of going to sideways down over here, then maybe eventually when we do try and test it, it'll just push us back down again. Okay. Yeah, that's the idea where I say here. And then the next possibility is down and making a lower low than the previous low of around the 24th of May day. Okay, that's our BTC chart, really in a shell of a nut. But that's the 4-hour level. Let's try and count, or at least take an idea here with a line chart. Yeah, see, this would be the failure right here if this is a fifth wave failure on a 4-hour level. But all of these, see, it just doesn't look right. doesn't look right. It really, how is this? This doesn't make sense. I don't know. Just doesn't make sense as a move. But again, this is a 4-hour chart, and on a bigger scale here, it could be something like this, which makes a lot more sense. Makes a lot more sense. It looks more like a impulse pattern. However, then why on the daily are we seeing a ABC zigzag pattern for a move which of a bigger zigzag should be itself a 5-way pattern? However, again, these things don't always construct themselves exactly perfectly. There is nuance that happens here. And in this case, the nuance could be that this could actually be a third wave of a potential fifth wave. And that fifth wave could fail and be lower. It could reach beyond it, but not by much, or it could reach beyond it by, yeah, I probably wouldn't reach much beyond it, because this looks like if this is the third wave, this is an extension, and then the fifth would probably be short like the first. So it probably wouldn't go beyond the 8,000 Satoshi level, this red line, most likely in closing, or down to this type of region here, which is more in the 777 level. But anyway, okay, so that's an interesting thought right there for me. And I hope that shares a similar interest with you. But yeah, even Bollinger Band wise, we are not in a winding up phase yet. Okay, we just aren't. So we're in a finding ourselves phase. So in my opinion, anywhere between this bottom orange band and the top green band, that's a great place to be right now. If we can sideways this for as long as we need to until we're ready, who's not happy with that? I'm happy with that. I'm definitely satisfied with that, not only on an emotional, personal level. That's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about it actually from a chart structure standpoint and in terms of a potential for a further up move. the longer we're able to gather this and keep it, yeah, we might capitulate at some point for a one of those violent capitulation moves, but it just means that it's not a finished market cycle overall. This move here like this is done, in my opinion. This is done, and the market now is just making final clear outs and is going to figure out its next moves. Like it's like the night is over. It's going to take a bit of rest and figure out where's the next party. And it's going to be one of those crash and burn parties where you just you go a little wild to the downside, crash and burn. Or is it going to be one of those parties which is, similar to that April party? We want another April party, don't we? I do. I definitely want another April party. I don't think I had much else to say about the time frames. Even the MACDs and the RSI is nothing different much than what we've already been seeing. Oh, yellow line, get out of here. Yeah, look at the complexity here. I really like this complexity right there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles, and some are red, some are green, some are tall, some are short. There's good buying support here. I just like it. It looks like it's not it's not so simple, and at the same time, it's yeah, I think it counteracts this impulse very nicely without without a massive dump. Look, we did not take out the whole body of the candle yet, and it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. I think that's good, even if it does make it down to the 6,000 Satoshi level based on future BTC movements and all that. I think we're looking good. Now, having said that, you do want to pay attention to that. At this point, at some point in the market cycle, bull markets of Bitcoin and altcoins and USD or whatever fiat you're playing with, at some point, it's not worth it to hold the altcoin compared to Bitcoin if it's kind of a trading account. If it's your long-term hold, well, that's another story, and that's why we just enjoy watching the charts and seeing where it's going and what part of a market cycle it might be in, for sure. I do want to mention that on a weekly time frame, yeah, we might need to play this out for a bunch more weeks. It just has been a huge move to the upside, and we might not have taken enough lateral horizontal time space at this level. Do you see? Now, it would be different if we were going to be going down here, then that's fine, because then even if it doesn't take a lot of time, but it clears out all of the vertical distance. If we're not going to be clearing out this vertical distance, then there's a good chance we need to just spend some sideways time to make up for it. Because as I've heard, it's either going to correct through price or through time. So if it needs a time correction, so that because it's not going to price correct as much, then you just recognize that too. Okay. And I think the two possibilities I'm fine with, yeah, and I'm fine with everything, but that I'm rooting for is roughly sideways our BTC price, okay, and BTC is going up, and the RUSD price is going up, okay. But in BTC price, the R is sideways, but because Bitcoin's going up in dollars, the same RBTC price means a higher RUSD price. That would be a great scenario. A lovely scenario would be an increasing RBTC price while the RUSD price is also going up and the BTC USD price going up. But I feel like that's a bit more dangerous and volatile. So yeah, I think the best thing for the RBTC chart, actually, if I were to say so, would probably be a good bit of sideways movement while BTC USD goes up. That would be fun. That would be good. Now, what happens after that, though? I don't know. I don't know. And the danger could be a down movement after that. So let's focus on now. Let's focus on today, and let's not stay too long in one place. So I think I'm going to end that right now. All right. I don't have much else to say. I'll be catching you on the flip side. Back to the daily chart, our BTC. Friends, it's exciting times in the life of Pirate Chain and the whole of Komodo ecosystem. It really is. And on a daily chart, we look pretty good in terms of this type of move and the length of the move versus this type of move and the length of the move. It looks pretty even to me. So I don't think we're going to be spending much more time on a daily time frame, wondering what our direction is going to be. But then again, you know, these markets, they have a mind of their own, and it's a collective mind. It's a mind of minds. It's an invisible mind, like the invisible hand. Let's just hope that invisible hand doesn't have a fat finger. Otherwise, whoops. Okay, done for now, folks. Is there anything you want to share, ask, comment, feedback, anything like that? Much appreciated. Thanks for sticking around to the end. I hope it's been of value to you. Love, peace, and happiness. Until next time.